Imagine one of the coolest cars ever made. Stainless steel body, gull-wing doors, the car that Marty McFly used to time travel. You become a millionaire rock star in the car industry, you're living in mansions, dating models, partying with Hollywood elites. Then one day, you get caught on camera staring at a suitcase with 59 pounds of cocaine saying, "This is better than gold," because you're trying to save your failing car company. This isn't cap. This is the actual story of John Z. DeLorean, the biggest menace the car world has ever seen. Let's get into it. Alright, so John DeLorean wasn't actually some random dude. This man was like straight out of like GM Motors. He was some genius because he basically created the muscle car era. He turned the Pontiac GTO into an icon. He made the Firebird and helped design the Corvette. Bro was moving like a god in the 1960s, but being a big shot at GM wasn't enough for him. In the 1970s, he said, "Fuck this corporate shit," and left to start his own company. His dream? Build the ultimate futuristic sports car. DMC-12, stainless steel body, gull-wing doors, supposed to be the car of the future. Problem was, building this car cost a disgusting amount of money, like stupid money. And John was living like a rock star the whole time. Private jets, cocaine-fueled parties, hanging out with celebrities. He was spending money faster than he could raise it. By 1982, his company was bleeding cash so bad it was about to die. So what does a normal person do? They downsize, right? Yeah. They sell assets. They make cuts. What does John DeLorean do? He links up with some random dudes who say they can get him $24 million to save the company by selling cocaine. No cap. The feds have been watching this dude. They set up a sting operation. They bring John into a room, put a suitcase with 59 pounds of cocaine on the table, and start filming. And this dude, this absolute idiot. Okay, he's a bit of a menace, but he's an idiot for this one. He picks out the cocaine, looks at it and says, "This is better than gold." Bro really said that out loud on camera. He really looked at this cocaine and had dollar signs in his eyes. They arrested him right there. He was looking at 67 years in a federal prison. Now here's where it gets even crazier. He actually beat the case. My boy beat the case. He told the jury he was entrapped. The government tricked him and somehow they believed him. And they let him go. But his car company already died. The DeLorean dream was finished. He lost everything. Reputation destroyed. Money gone. And even after all that, John stayed unhinged. Till the day he died. Never really apologized. Never acted sorry. He just kept moving. So why is this relevant to you guys? This man was so obsessed with these visions. So deep in his own ego that when his company started dying, he didn't pivot. He said, "Let's sell some bricks of cocaine." He went from being one of the most respected names in Detroit to becoming a walking federal crime statistic. That's not a midlife crisis. That's final boss degeneracy. That's the type of menace energy where you're willing to risk everything, your freedom and your legacy, your future, just because you refuse to let a car dream die. Most y'all stress about putting an exhaust on your Civic. This dude was out here trying to finance a whole car company with Colombian marching powder. So next time you feel like you're making bad decisions for your build, just remember John Z. DeLorean tried to save his with 59 pounds of cocaine and still thought he could talk his way out of it. That's legendary menace behavior. If this story sent you, smash the like button, comment, fuck it, do what you want. Imagine being so good at cheating in NASCAR that they literally had to rewrite the rulebook multiple times just because of you. This man was building secret 11-foot long fuel lines, hiding basketballs inside gas tanks, and once drove his car away from inspection with no fuel tank at all. They called him Smokey Yunick, and he might be the greatest menace the car world has ever seen. Let's get into this madness. Smokey wasn't some random backyard mechanic. This dude was straight up genius. He flew B-17 bombers in World War II, came home, opened up Smokey's best damn garage in Daytona Beach, and started dominating stock car racing in the 1950s and the 60s. But you see, Smokey had one problem. He hated losing, and he hated stupid rules even more. So instead of playing fair, he read the rulebook like it was a Bible and found every single loophole possible. And bro, he exploited all of it. Here's some of the wildest shit he actually pulled off. One time NASCAR had strict rules on how big your fuel tank could be. So Smokey built a normal looking tank and shoved an inflated basketball inside it before inspection. The officials filled it with fuel and measured it and said it was legal. As soon as the inspection was over, he deflated the basketball, yanked it out, and suddenly had a way bigger fuel tank than everybody else. 3 extra laps, baby. But he didn't stop there. He noticed the rules said how big your fuel tank had to be, but said nothing about the fuel line. So he ran an 11-foot, 2-inch thick fuel line hidden through the entire car. That thing held gallons of extra gas. Pure evil genius. Then there's the legendary story from Daytona. His car failed inspection with 9 violations. Smokey looks at the officials and says, "That's nonsense."
Make it 11.
Fires up his car with no fuel tank and casually drives it all the way back to his shop in front of everybody. Lit a cigar on the way out like a boss. But the absolute final boss move? In 1967, he built 3 Chevrolet Chevelles that were 7/8 scale. The entire car was slightly smaller than a normal Chevelle. It was lighter, more aerodynamic, and it was stupid fast. Officials knew something was off but couldn't prove it at first because there were no other Chevelles to compare it to that year. One of them even took the pole at Daytona. Bro was out here building custom shrunken race cars just to cook everybody. Smokey got caught a bunch of times, but half the time they couldn't even prove he broke the rules because it was always one step ahead of the wording. NASCAR had to keep changing the rules specifically because of the shit that he was doing. He won races, built legendary engines, became a hero to the mechanics everywhere. Even the guys who hated him respected the creativity. So how does this compare to you guys? Smokey Yunick looked at racing and said, If the rules are stupid, I'm gonna be more stupid. He wasn't cheating in the normal way, he was just smarter than the people writing the rules. He treated the rulebook like a video game patch note and found every exploit. That's next level menace behavior. Most people get mad at the rules. Smokey read them twice and built 11-foot gas lines. At the end of the day, he forced NASCAR to get better at writing rules. He made the sport smarter by being the biggest troll they ever dealt with. If you ever feel like modding your car and bending the rules a little, just remember Smokey was out here driving with no fuel tank and building shrunken Chevelles. That's legendary. Now, I originally wanted to just talk about John DeLorean in this video, but yeah, while I was doing research for John, somebody told me about this dude and I was like, no fucking way. I gotta read about this dude, and I'm going down a rabbit hole.